Welcome to Flow with the Grow. I'm your host, Sophia, a health and fitness professional, positivity distributor, and a real-life human being with real-life challenges. Every Tuesday, you'll hear my honest conversations on the day-to-day highs and lows that life teaches us, as well as bring you actionable tips that you can implement to improve your health and wellness journey. This podcast will empower you to flow with the inevitable setbacks of life. You will learn what it means to flow with the grow, see through a lens of optimism, and navigate your way to living your best life. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Now let's jump into your daily dose of positivity and growth. Hey, hi, hello, welcome back. If we have not met yet, my name is Sophie, and I am the host of Flow with the Grow. Super happy you are here with me right now. And I just want to take a moment to say thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone who has supported me along this journey in my life in general and with this podcast. It's been super awesome. And actually, it'll be 1 year in June, which is freaking unreal. That's wild. 1 year of doing podcasting once a week is so crazy to me. So I just got back from a trip from Florida. I had a 2-day work trip, and then I had a family vacation after that for a few days. So I just got back recently, and I kind of just wanted to share a little bit more about not my entire Florida vacation, because I don't know if you want to hear me talk about me sitting by the beach, drinking some seltzers, hearing the ocean waves, and just chilling. But I do want to point out something that happened on my flight home. So I will talk about that in a little bit. I think maybe more people than I realize can relate, and maybe you will realize that, oh, there's someone else out there that you can relate with. And then I also got 3 new tattoos, 1 in Florida, and then 2 when I came back, and one pretty big piece that took all day, and it was super painful. So I just wanted to kind of chat more about that and explain the meaning behind those. I know in a previous episode, I talked more about the meanings behind all of my other tattoos, and so I just wanted to finish off with my newest ones. Before I get into any of that, I just wanted to quote and read something that a friend of mine tagged me in on Facebook, and it kind of hit home. It was a really great message that I want to share with you. The title is Letting the Cycles Flow. So I think this is just for the day that she sent it. It wasn't the actual title of the book or whatever it was she's reading. Letting the cycles flow. Life is cyclical, not static. Our relationships benefit when we allow them to follow their own natural cycles. Like the tide ebbs and flows, so do the cycles in relationships. We have periods of closeness and periods of distance. We have times of coming together and times of separating to work on individual issues. We have times of love and joy and times of anger. Sometimes the dimensions of relationships change as we go through changes. Sometimes life brings us new friends or a new loved one to teach us the next lesson. That does not mean the old friend disappears forever. It means we have entered a new cycle. We do not have to control the course of our relationships, whether these be friendships or love relationships. We do not have to satisfy our need to control by imposing a static form on relationships. Let it flow. Be open to the cycles. Love will not disappear. The bond between friends will not sever. Things do not remain the same forever, especially when we are growing and changing at such a rapid pace. Trust the flow. Take care of yourself, but be willing to let people go. Hanging on to them too tightly will make them disappear. The old adage about love still holds true. If it's meant to be, it will be. And if you love someone, let them go. If they come back to you, the love is yours. Today, I accept the cyclical nature of life and relationships. I will strive to go with the flow. I will strive for harmony with my own needs and the needs of the other person. Now, I don't know about you, but I got goosebumps reading that. Number one, it just goes along with kind of what I teach and preach and what I love to talk about, which is flowing with the growth of life, going with the flow, flowing with the grow. So I thought it fit very well with the direction of what my podcast is, as well as my perspective in thinking and believing that every single relationship has a purpose. Every relationship in your life, in my life, I believe every relationship in my life serves a meaningful purpose, whatever it may be. And when I say relationship, I don't mean just a loved one or a significant other. It can be a short acquaintance. It can be a friendship that I have, a friendship that has come and gone, a relationship that has come and gone. Every single relationship, whether it ends positive or negative, serves a purpose in our life. And if you choose to see it this way, if you choose to find that purpose. So yeah, just some food for thought. Every relationship has a purpose. They are constantly changing. They're not static. And just how we flow through different and grow through different situations, we do the same with relationships. Okay, also side note, I had someone send me a very powerful image. I had a quote, Jim Carrey, and this fits perfectly with what we're talking about right now. So I'm going to read this to you as well. It's like a one sentence quote, but very impactful. So he said, avoiding certain people to protect your emotional health is not weakness, it's wisdom. Just wow. Let's talk about Florida. Fun fact, I love dolphins. I actually have like 5 or 6 small little, I don't know if you call them knickknacks or like decorations of dolphins. I've always been drawn to them. When I was in college, I actually switched my major from I think maybe nutrition or education, and I switched it to biology because I was planning to go into marine biology to become a dolphin trainer. I don't know if many people know that, but yep, I wanted to be a dolphin trainer. And then I remember walking across campus really thinking and pondering on, is this what I really want? I wasn't really sure. And it kind of dawned on me, it hit me that actually health and fitness truly is my passion, not only for myself, but for helping other people. I could see myself and visualize myself doing that for life, for long term in my future. That's what I would think about. And I realized that I just want to swim with dolphins. I just want to be around them, not necessarily work with them. So it's been a dream of mine to swim with the dolphins. Now, when I was in Florida, we didn't get really that opportunity, but we did go to a place called Marineland or Marine World, where there were dolphins and there were dolphin encounters. And there was a thing where you could swim with them, but it wasn't actually swimming with them. Like you got some time with them and then I don't know. It wasn't actually what I have been visualizing for what I want to do. So we did the dolphin encounter, which was pretty cool. They actually educated us on the dolphins and more about how we can help protect dolphins in the ocean and in the wild. And they actually live longer in where they are at, like in the marine land. They take really good care of them. But it was super cool to be super up close to one. His name was Zach. And we were able to not swim with them, but we were up with them in the water. And I got to hug Zach. So that was pretty cool. So my dream would be I think that if I go on a cruise or something and there's an area where there's dolphins in the vicinity of the ocean where we're swimming, and then they just naturally come up to me, if they do, that is what I really would love to do. I remember in, I think middle school, I don't know, 5th, 6th, 7th grade, I wrote a paper. We had to choose, I don't know, an animal or something. I'm not really sure, but I chose the bottlenose dolphin. And ever since then, I've just been fascinated and had a special love for dolphins. Before going to Florida, I told myself I really want to get a dolphin tattoo. I told my grandma that when we were going, and she was saying like, yeah, there's actually a lot of tattoo shops around the place that we're staying. So by the end of the trip, I got a dolphin tattoo. I also got a nose piercing. I have a nose piercing, but for the longest time, I've wanted a double nose piercing, like a double hoop. And I tried to do that one other time here in Brookings, but it was difficult. He said, I don't know if it was that he wouldn't do it, but basically he said that my nose ring wasn't planned to have two, like a double nose piercing, because my one nose piercing is so perfectly in the middle of where it should be that it just makes it tough to place a second one somewhere where it makes sense. But whatever, I wanted to do it. And so I went there and he did it. And at first he didn't really know where to do it. And so I said, well, just go below. And he was like, all right, I'm going to do it above. And he went to do it. And as he was doing it, he was like, nope, I'm going below. And it was super funny. I'm glad that's what he did, actually. So I have a stud in there now, but eventually I'll put a hoop in. And then I also got my dolphin tattoo. I found a cool line design, I just wanted a simple line design. So I got that. And then I was thinking about how I wanted some water with it too, a little bit. So, okay, a little story with this. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel better about it now, but I didn't know how I felt about it after I got it. To be completely honest, I don't regret it. 100%. I do not regret it. I do love it. And it's attached to an experience, I guess. But there was some miscommunication. I wanted color, so the outline of the dolphin to be blue, which was done. And then I wanted some water splashes like in the front of the dolphin and the tail of the dolphin. And I wanted it to be more of like the watercolor style. Well, he thought I meant, and by the way, he did not speak very good English. In this tattoo shop, there were multiple artists, and then it was just kind of whoever we were paired with, we got. So the guy that I got, he was, I don't know, sounded Russian maybe, I'm not sure, but he didn't speak good English. It was super hard to understand him. And I oftentimes just kind of go with it. Like I seriously go with the flow. And I was just kind of like, I wasn't being direct with him or making sure that he knew what I wanted. So that was not logical on my part. So he, at the end, realized that, oh, I don't think this is what she wanted, because then he asked me, and he actually thought I meant water, but like different colors, not the watercolor style, like the splatter type style, if you know what I'm talking about. But he thought I wanted colors just around the dolphin. So, I mean, it looks good. I love the placement of it. I do like it, especially from far away. I do like it. But if you look closely, for some reason, and I'm just going to complain here for a second, but for some reason, he put the color inside the dolphin. And I'm just like, why? Like that doesn't even make sense. That's just common sense that you wouldn't, like, it just looks sloppy to me. Like inside, he just has color a little bit going in. So I don't know if he thought that was going to be like the water or what. But someday I might have to get it touched up with the colors and maybe color inside the dolphin and do some different shades of blue. But it's all right. It's all good. It's my own damn fault for not being more clear. And it's all good. I am grateful that I was able to go get this tattoo. And not only did I get my nose pierced and tattooed, but my younger sister got a nose piercing, and then my mom also got a tattoo. So it was pretty cool. She got waves, super unique because there's different lines, like a line type wave on her wrist, and then she got colored in, and the ink kind of glows under black light. So that's pretty cool. Coming back from Florida was an adventure. I don't know about you or if you have experienced this, but personally, as I get older, and now this has happened the past at least couple of years now, but when I leave a family vacation, or when I leave people, or when I just in general go on a plane to come back home, I get super sad and down. Now, especially when it's my grandma. So she dropped me off, her and her husband dropped me off at the airport, and it's always just so sad and hard to say goodbye. I don't see her too often, and I 100% believe that my adventurous spirit came because of her. When we were younger, she would always take us to Palisades, Falls Park, rock climbing, not legit rock climbing, but we would climb on rocks like off the path and at Falls Park and stuff. And just, we would always do things with her outside and hiking. And when we go on vacations, she's always up and doing things like we're hiking or going on the roller coasters or just being outside. And it's freaking amazing. I love it. But anyways, saying goodbye to her is always really hard. And just recently, within the past few years, I've noticed that I just will start crying. Like I feel the need to cry and I cry, and it's just super sad. It's really hard. So I said goodbye to them, went up the escalator in the airport, and I was trying to fight back tears. This happens every damn time. I just try to fight back tears to get through security, so that way I can just get through security and do if I need to cry, cry. So I got through security, and that's exactly what happened. I sat down and I just started bawling, but not only crying, but feeling, I don't like categorizing myself as being anxious, but it was a feeling in my chest and in the pit of my stomach like my heart was racing. It's really hard to explain, but I just felt this feeling in my chest and in my heart and my stomach, and I couldn't shake it. And it's like I was like going to have a freak out, and I was just crying, and I actually just started to put music on and write and journal how I was feeling. Just whatever was coming to mind, I would write. I also just focused on my breath and took some deep, mindful breaths, and that seemed to help as well. So fast forward a little bit till me getting on the plane. I remember kind of getting those feelings again as I was getting into the plane. And I'm going to admit something to you right now. I don't know if I've said this on the show yet, but I have one major fear in life. One legit fear, and that's death. I fear death to my core. I don't really know when it started. I've always kind of had the fear, but it's like been more and more recently. The past couple of years, not even the past 1 to 2 years, that I've really felt this fear come on. It's just the fear of non-existence, the fear of pain, if it were to be painful death. And I always think the worst. Like I remember when I was in North Carolina, if you follow me on social media, I did a Facebook Live, and I was in like super down in the depths of I don't know what you call it. Like if you're on the road and you look off the side and it goes way down, gosh, I can't even think of the name, but basically a super big hidden waterfall, and it was huge. And I was the only one down there, and all I could think about was if a bear was going to come. Like what if a bear comes and I just am in this state of fear, and what if something happens? What if the bear attacks me? That's like what I think about. And then I get super anxious, and then I left. But the same thing happens in really any situation. Like I would just always think the worst. So when I was in the plane, every time I fly, even though I don't mind flying and I fly all the time, there's always this little bit of fear that something is going to go wrong. And I will picture myself or visualize things happening to the plane, whether it gets blown up, I hate talking about it, or it crashes or whatever it may be. And then my life is gone. So I always kind of think about that. And I think I was probably thinking about it too much, overthinking it. So that was playing a role in how I was feeling, I think. And when I got on the plane, not only was it back to the feelings of in my chest, my heart, my stomach, but it was also thinking those thoughts. And I remember sitting in my seat, and a super nice lady was next to me. We didn't really start talking, but we talked a little bit here and there. And she just sat next to me reading her book. And I remember before we took off, I just was crying. And it was to the point where I was trying to hold back sniffles because I was crying so hard that my nose was starting to run. Once we started going a little bit, it kind of got worse. And I told a couple of friends this, and one of them actually mentioned and suggested that I write and journal, but something that's not related to how I'm feeling and to what's going on in my head. So that's what I did. I wrote about something that was not related at all. And it did help. And it helped listening to music and then just really focusing on my breath. It's honestly never been this bad before. I don't think, now that I can remember. Like I feel like I was having like a mini panic attack or something. I don't really know. But that happened, and I was pretty content with coming back. So it wasn't this fear or worry of coming back to just day-to-day life. It was more so the sadness of saying goodbye and the fear and thinking about just thoughts of what could go wrong in the airplane. And I don't really know what else. So I'm going to switch gears a little bit because in the past, in a previous episode, I talked about post-vacation blues. And I just want to say that it really works. What I talk about in that episode works. And I'll put that in the show notes so that you can go back and listen to that, because I talk about what I did to combat post-vacation blues. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it is a thing and I've experienced it. And so I knew again that could be potentially a thing for me. And I do what I do every time. And long story short, I make a plan. That's really what I do. I make a plan and I look forward. I have things I look forward to. There's kind of a specific process that I do. And I talk about that in a previous episode, but it helps. And I do it every single time. And now it's kind of like I've conditioned myself to not feel those feelings when I come back, because it's kind of changed my mindset and perspective naturally. I made that plan, wrote it down, and I looked forward to it. And I did look forward to the tattoo I was getting, which was the Saturday that I got back. And I was looking forward to a couple of people, and I was looking forward to coming back to the gym, coming back to work, seeing my second family, which is my Anytime Fitness family. And I just was really looking forward to that. And I think that really helped me as well. And now let's talk about tattoos. My next 2 tattoos that I got, I go to Ryan Harrison. That's his name. His business is Crow in Ascension in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. If you're looking for someone to do a tattoo, highly recommend. I absolutely love how you can email him and set up a consultation first to kind of go over your idea. He'll throw out ideas just to make sure you guys are on the same page and give you a quote, and then schedule the tattoo appointment. And it's also a good way to kind of see if you vibe with him, if you like his energy, his thoughts, his opinion on things, and then just kind of go from there. And of course, his art, his tattooing is amazing. And now that I think about it, because I'm going to talk about the pain of color, I'm going to go back to the dolphin tattoo. The pain was real. Holy freaking shiz. The pain was real. I remember laying down, he was doing the dolphin and all the other colors and everything, and it hurt so bad. I remember I was trying to get my mind off of it and think of other things, and I was tensing, squeezing my other hand, but I just remember it was so painful. And I told Ryan this, and he was kind of shocked. Like, he's like, what, really? Was that bad? And he was doing my tattooing that day, and the black and white, the black one outline of my tattoo wasn't that bad. And I was like, oh yeah, see, it's not that bad. Well, when you get to color, it was 100 times worse. Color is 100 times more painful than black. And that's not an exaggeration. The first thing that I got on my left forearm, just below my elbow, is a couple words. And these words are written by my niece, Kenley. I had her write on a piece of paper, love, comma, Kenley, with 2 hearts. And so she did. And that's tattooed on my forearm. And you know what's freaking hilarious is that, and I didn't realize this until Ryan pointed it out. I'm pretty sure I didn't notice it, or just didn't click in my brain. The comma is backwards. That's probably my favorite part. The comma is backwards, and her N looks like an H. And now I considered changing it, like tweaking it so that it looks like an N. But Ryan was like, no, we better not tamper with that. Like, it is what it is. That's how she wrote it. Gives it character, you know? And I am so glad that I didn't change it, because it's just how it is. And it's the cutest thing. Her hearts are kind of, like, you can tell one of the hearts, she tried to draw super slow to make it like perfect and look good, because it's kind of squiggly. And you know what? It is perfect just as it is. I haven't showed it to her yet, but I'm super excited to show her. I know that I told her about it and she was excited, but just to have her see it on my body would be kind of cool. And when Kazan, my nephew, gets older, I'll have him write something too, and I will get that tattooed just below Kenley's, most likely. And big news, I said this in a previous episode, but I'm having another little human for a niece or a nephew, and I know the gender, and I'm pretty sure that at the time of this being released, Hannah will have revealed the gender. But just in case, I better not say. Just in case. I don't want to get in trouble, even though I'm pretty positive she will have said it by then. But the video she sent me of the gender reveal is super cute, and I remember watching it and being so excited. And one of my clients, she did a quick video of my reaction, which was actually super cool. The second tattoo that I got, my bigger piece on my right arm, is a bit more in depth, and it is one of my favorite. I mean, I don't know if I can say if I have a favorite tattoo, but this might be my favorite tattoo. Might be maybe not the most meaningful, but maybe most personal. Maybe it has the most personal meaning to it. It starts off with a quote that wraps around my arm just below my elbow, and it says, "I allow for transformation. I flow with the grow." The W of grow is attached to a flower bud, and it's a couple flower buds that go into a couple flowers blossoming, but not fully blossomed. and then back to a couple flower buds, which are opening up a little bit more, into flowers again, and again, not fully blossomed, back to flower buds, and then back to a fully blossomed flower with a butterfly at the top, which so it goes up my arm and onto a little bit of my shoulder blade is where the butterfly is. I wasn't really sure on the colors specifically just yet. We kind of had an idea and kind of talked about it, kind of not talked about it. I knew that I wanted some black and white, like I wanted it to be going from black and white into color, or maybe black and white into color, back to black and white into color, but leaning more towards black and white and then into color. After we did the outline and he did the black and the shading and everything, we were talking about the color. He suggested a few that he thought would work really well together and to also flow with the significance of it. So we were choosing and thinking about some pinks, some reds, some oranges in there. And we were talking about having, like, we weren't sure if we were going to do the flower buds one color and then the flowers the same color of those flower buds and then change it to the next set and to the next set, or if we were going to just do color throughout and make it all be different. And then it popped into my head. I saw a picture. So he has a photo slideshow on a TV that he has. And I briefly looked up and saw the black and white, another tattoo that he did, which was black and white into color. And I don't know if I just forgot about that in the moment or what, but I was like, oh yeah, black and white and into color. That's what it needs to be. So I was shown that in that moment, which was crazy because he has 100 pictures that go through that thing, I think. And so I told him, I was like, well, what do you think if we were to do the first set of the flower buds and flowers, black and white? And by the way, we had already done an olive color on the leaves and stuff. So the leaves are more of that greenish color. So I was like, what do you think about if we do it just black on the first set of the flower buds and flowers, and then we move it into a color, so an orange color is what we decided on, and then into a red. The butterfly is a blue, has a couple different shadings of blue, and it turned out so perfect and awesome because it's the black, and then so it's the black shading from the flower buds into the flowers. And then in the next set of flower buds and into the flowers, it starts off with the black in the flower bud, and then the black slowly turns to the orange in that same flower bud. And then in the flower of that flower bud, it slowly turns into that brighter orange. And then from the orange to the next set of flower buds, it's orange going into the red slowly. And then in the last flower, it is fully the red. And I think he used a couple different shadings of red. So it turned out perfectly and it looks so beautiful. I'm so in love with it. And the way that he makes it flow is so in line with the meaning behind it. So he actually told me this when he was drawing it. And I love this. He gets me, he knows me, he gets me without me having to explain it. It's pretty cool. But in the very beginning, when he was showing me the design that he made, he was explaining that how when he was drawing it, he made it flow from the flower buds going one way and then a different way and then another way. And it kind of signifies these paths of life that we potentially have or take. And it's the growth. So it's the growth going up my arm. It's essentially the black and white into color signifies the growth and transformation that I have had so far in my life. So with the colors, but also the shape of the entire tattoo and the flow of it going different directions. And then at the top is, of course, the butterfly, which signifies, again, that growth and transformation of myself, my life, who I am. The quote is a reminder that I want and I know that I need to always allow for transformation. I'm never going to stay the same. If you've heard of people say, don't ever change, or I love the way you are, don't ever change. Well, to be honest, someone told me that once and I told them, I hope I do change because I'm always evolving. I'm always learning. I'm always growing in different ways, different areas of life. I'm always learning and changing my mindset. So yeah, I hope that I do change. I am constantly wanting to change and evolve. And I'm going to allow for that. I'm going to allow the transformation, and I'm going to flow with the grow, because I'm going to just flow with life. I flow with the ups. I flow with the downs. I flow with my day to day. And with that comes growth. Every single moment is growth to me. Every single moment is a chance to see as growth, whether it's a struggle or not. Every single moment, every single day, experience, relationship, conversation is a chance to grow. And I'm going to flow with it. Just like we go with the flow of life. And when people say we grow with the flow, I believe doing the opposite is just as powerful, if not more powerful and impactful in at least my life. That's one of the reasons why I named my podcast Flow with the Grow. And I guess now is a good time to mention how this name came about. I don't think I have ever addressed this, but I was driving before I put out my podcast. This was when I was in the stages of trying to figure out the cover art, the title, and things like that, and learning how to do a podcast. And I remember specifically, I was driving to Hy-Vee in Brookings, South Dakota, and the words "go with the flow" just kept coming to mind always. And so I was playing around with the wording in my head: go with the flow, grow with the flow, and then bam, it came to me like a vision. If you've heard about me talk about this before, I get visions. I see pictures and words and things that just come to me, like messages that I need to share just come to me. And flow with the grow instantly came to mind. And it was a feeling. It was the feeling of a hell yes feeling. It was a feeling of my intuition telling me this is it. That is it for my podcast. Flow with the grow. I instantly went on all search engines to search to see if any podcast had a flow with the grow or any business or website. And hallelujah, there was none. It was meant to be for me. And I thought about the meaning behind this. I think to each person it's different. That's why I like to ask people, especially people who I bring on the show as guests, what it means to them to flow with the grow. It kind of has a different feel and a different perspective than grow with the flow or go with the flow, either of those. So flow with the grow. I'm just going to naturally flow through life, naturally just be each and every day and flow with it. Flow with every challenge, feeling, emotion, experience, opportunities, learning curves, lessons. All of that is growth, and all of that we grow from. So I am going to flow with the grow of life. So it just becomes this natural thing of flowing each and every day as we evolve and as we grow. It's honestly been really cool for me to look back on the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years or more and think about and reflect on the growth I've had. The growth I've had in different areas of life. But for me, it's really becoming who I am, who I'm meant to be. And it's always changing, but it's me from believing that I'm here for a reason. It's me looking back and slowly not caring about what other people think. It's me just being who I am. It's like the wings of a butterfly slowly opening and flying. And it's literally from a bud slowly opening and blossoming into this flower, this big, blooming, beautiful flower. The bud was beautiful, but it slowly evolved into a flower that is completely opened. And that's kind of how I think about and compare maybe not compare, but relate my life to a flower, and the same thing to a butterfly. And I think we can all relate to that in some way. But for me personally, that's just kind of how I've always thought about and signified my life and my growth as and with. And I've watched myself and looked back on the growth I've had, not just in who I am, but my relationships with people and how I speak and how I communicate and my confidence and in business and in my career, my workplace, my confidence in myself, my body image, not needing validation from anyone else, not needing someone to tell me I am beautiful or sexy or anything like that. Like, yes, I feel appreciated and loved when I hear those things. And it's kind of like right now it is something that is just kind of a extra, like a bonus if someone tells me that. But it's me. I've slowly become this person who I truly believe it and I'm confident in it. And it's so cool to see and I love it. And that's what this tattoo signifies. All of that, all of what I just explained. So you really just got the long version of what the tattoo means. Short version, growth and transformation. Long version, all of that. I'm super proud of it and I'm very happy with it. And it exceeded my vision for it, as always, as Ryan always does. And by the way, if you're wanting to check him out, I will link his information in the show notes. If you are considering getting color, just know and be prepared that it is way more painful. Something that I really had to focus on was not the needle, not the pain. It got to the point where seriously, I was just sitting there. My eyes were closed. I was squeezing, tensing my other hand. My thumbnail was like in my palm and I made like a little marking, but I really had to utilize my meditation practice, which I've gone away from, but I was able to bring it back in these moments of pain. I would close my eyes and I seriously literally had to visualize and focus on my breath going in through my nose and out through my nose. And it helped. It's kind of like the pain was in the background, like subconsciously it was there. It was in the background. I could feel it, but it wasn't as bad as if I were to fully put my attention on the pain in that area. But it was worth it. I knew that the pain was momentarily. It was just not permanent. It would be done soon. And it was purposeful pain. So again, totally worth it. And I would do it all over again. But now I know how much more color hurts. And speaking of color, when I went to Florida, my hair was a purple. I had just recently dyed it. And normally it stays that purple for like at least 3, 4, 5, 6 months before I re-dye it because my roots come in and it kind of changes purple a little bit. But I believe the salt and the sand from the ocean changed my hair color. So it's like a mix of a little bit of light purple and blue and gray. And it's just an array of colors. And I was going to get it re-dyed or try and get more purple in it, but I've had a lot of people comment and say how much they actually really love it. Like they just are straight up, I really love your hair. And I think it's because it's something that you can't just go and dye like this. Like it naturally happened and it's really hard to just do this. And I've had people say it's mermaid hair. And well, I'm part mermaid and dolphin is my spirit animal. So there we go. That's that. I 100% plan to just leave it like this for now, at least. It's different. I love it. And we're just going to go with it. We're going to flow with it. We're going to flow and grow with it. All right. That's enough of that. Thank you. I appreciate you. I support you. And I would love the support back. If you have not already left a review and a rating, that would be amazing. And it would help the show grow and help other people who come on, new people who come on, to see how the show is helpful or just to kind of hear other people's thoughts and opinions on the show. So if you're open to it, please leave that review. Let me know your favorite episode or message or tip, or how the show has impacted you and your life. And with that, I hope you find some growth in your life. You're able to flow with it, to flow with the grow, and have a great rest of your day, night, week, weekend. Bye for now. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Flow with the Grow. I'll see you next week for your daily dose of positivity and growth.